Kusturi is not here, Anu?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Today is my second dose of vaccination is scheduled. So I'm on the way traveling.
Oh. কোথায় নিচ্ছে? কোথায় দেবে?
Sir, আমি টেকনোতে। টেকনো ইন্ডিয়া।
ও টেকনো ইন্ডিয়া, ওই বাইপাসের ওপর না?
হ্যাঁ, বাইপাসের উপরে। আমি এখন যাচ্ছি স্যার। তাই জন্য আর কি মোবাইল থেকে জয়েন হয়েছে।
আচ্ছা।
টেকনো গ্লোবাল হসপিটালের উইং না?
হ্যাঁ।
কোভিশিল্ড তো নাকি?
কোভিশিল্ড না, কোভিশিল্ড।
স্পুটনিকটা 1 মাসের মধ্যে দিয়ে দিচ্ছে, 28 দিনের মধ্যে।
না, কোভিশিল্ডে নেওয়া হয়ে গেছিল।
হাইব্রিড ডোজ স্যার ওয়ার্কিং মাচ ওয়েল।
ককটেল বলছে, ককটেল।
আমরা কস্তুরী ম্যামকে দিয়ে এটা এক্সপেরিমেন্ট করতে পারতাম আমাদের।
না, বুস্টারটা চাইলে স্পুটনিক পেয়ে যাবো। আমি দেখি ডাক্তারদের সঙ্গে কথা বলবো। স্পুটনিক খুব অ্যাভেলেবল হচ্ছে।
বুস্টার তো 3 মাস পরে নাকি?
আমার তো 4 মাস হয়ে গেছে। মে, জুন, জুলাই, আগস্ট হয়ে গেল।
আচ্ছা।
অনেক ছাত্র স্পুটনিক নিয়েছে, কারণ ওখানে কোনো ভিড় নেই, যাচ্ছে সঙ্গে সঙ্গে দিয়ে দিচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, স্পুটনিকের কভারেজও ভালো স্যার, মানে বাকি দুটোর তুলনায়।
হ্যাঁ,
এফিকাসিটা তো 90% এর উপরে
বলছে তো।
হ্যাঁ। আইসিএমআর যদিও এখনো ককটেলের ব্যাপারে তেমন কিছু নির্দেশনা দেয়
এখনো সেরকম নাই। কোভ্যাক্সিনটাও এখনো মানে হুয়ের রিকগনিশন বোধহয় এখনো পায়নি।
অ্যাপ্লাই করেছে
আমাদের পাশের ফ্ল্যাটে ও নিয়েছে, ও কোথাও যেতে পারছে না, দুবাইতে যায় প্রায়, কোভ্যাক্সিন ছাড়তে না।
No, can we start?
So a very good morning, everyone. I would request every participant to please mute yourself. So it's an immense pleasure for me to again welcome you all on this auspicious occasion where we are going to have our Future Geographers Series 7. Today we have Shauhardo Chakravarti, Assistant Manager from ICLEI South Asian Wings, and it's really wonderful to see Shauhardo here, who is going to discuss with us about the career planning and prospects in field of planning and management. Being a real planner, being a real experience from the field, Shauhardo is going to introduce our audience about its prospects in a planning sector. So welcome, Shauhardo. Before starting or before moving ahead, I would request our Dean, Sir, Professor Jitendra Kumar Pandey, to kindly inaugurate the session. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anu, and good morning, everyone. Geography department has been very active, especially in spreading the awareness about the careers prospects after having knowledge of this subject. I would also like to thank Subrato. Thank you so much for your time. I think this is the concluding lecture of this series. This was having various domains like career in research, career in government job, career in industry. So, and in the presence of Sanjeev sir, I think this is really going to be a good concluding session. But it may be concluding, but it is not the end. We are planning. We have been doing it in future. Also, we have planned that whole year we keep giving this type of information to our students, so that they can they can keep having updated information about the career, and throughout the year we keep asking them what kind of career they want to choose. So accordingly, head of the department and faculty of the department, they try to mentor them. And if somebody is interested in research, then he or she will be uh, given full chance to do academic or research internship. Somebody is interested to go to industry, then there are programs called Meet the Leader, where students are directly interacting with industry people and trying to understand what kind of knowledge, skill is required to work in industry. If people are or students are interested for government job, then there are full-fledged association with RISE group, so they can opt for the coaching by joining the RISE group. For NET examination, for JAM examination in SOBAS, in whole School of Basic and Applied Science, we keep trying, giving them such type of information. And to those who are first time in this session, that our whole syllabus is designed in a way uh, where student can directly get full exposure and knowledge for the competitive exam and government exams. So all the best, and let's do it. And it may be concluding, but it should not be ending. I mean, we can start another series for all our existing students once classes and everything is started. So all the best. And Dr. Anu, over to you. Please move ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's absolutely true. It may be concluding, but it's not the end. So with this word, I would request Professor Sanjeev Ghosh, sir, who is Emeritus Professor in Chemistry, and sir is one among the founding member of Admas University. And it's also a pleasure that I would request sir to kindly introduce our speaker, who is also an ex-student of you. Sir, please welcome. Please give a welcome address and introduce our speaker to our audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anu, and good morning to everybody. Good morning to our Honorable Dean, Professor Pandey, all the faculty members, participants, as well as our speakers who happens to be student in our college, Presidency College. So, these days, Future Geographer, this is a very important series that Geography Department has arranged for the last few months. And geography as it was in 30 years ago is not like this today. It's a subject totally interdisciplinary. If you want to develop, for example, remote sensing, you have to, am I audible? Oh, no. Yes. If you develop remote sensing, then you need lots of background in physics as well as in computation. And competition is probably everywhere in the geography subject if you take up geography these days. Without that, you can't, go ahead. So that's interdisciplinary. Not only that, so if you want to go to environmental geography, then you need a knowledge of my subject, that is chemistry. Without chemistry knowledge, you can't go anywhere in the environmental geology. And climatology, climate change, disaster management, all these subjects needs not only proper geography as we mean, but geology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, computation, statistics, everything. So geography, as I want to mention the participants, that it's a subject very, very interesting and developing, and lots, as Professor Pandey mentioned, lots of job opportunities there, because it controls the environment, it controls sustainability, it controls the urban planning, it controls hospital management. Everywhere, geographers are called for. So it's a very, very, subject where you can get a job if you are properly trained, and properly trained in our university, Adamas University. as mentioned, Professor Pandey, that it's a design for producing future geographers who will be able to join industry or academic field as well. So without any delay, now I want to introduce our speaker today, Shovardo. Shovardo actually graduated from Presidency College and also mastered geography from Presidency College. And he also got Master of Science or Master of Planning graduate from CPT University, Ahmedabad as well. And Shovardo is currently working at IECLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, South Asia Secretariat. Prior to this, he worked in WRI India, Washington DC based international think tank, and IIM Ahmedabad. He has 8 years of work experience in the field of regional development, urban planning, environment planning, and liaising with government. His expertise also includes project implementation and management, statistical planning, logistic management, and land management. So you can understand from his background that what geography is. Geography is doing everything, everywhere, particularly the planning and management as mentioned by Dr. Onurai. So I think today's lecture will be very, very beneficial to all participants, particularly the students and the faculty members as well, because faculty members can interact with Shovardo and Shovardo can help them out, to get somewhere or some placement for our students as well. So, Shovardo, hope you're fine and ready to give a lecture. And as I mentioned, your lecture will be very valuable to all the participants. With this, I invite Shovardo to start his, deliver his lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Dr. Pandey, for hosting this, and thank you, Department of Geography, School of Basic and Applied Sciences, Adams University, for hosting today's session. The session, like every one of our hosts have already said, that this kind of session is very important for students who can get a guide onto like a compass of sorts, like where to go in the future. So this session, I hope that will meet everybody's expectations. So without further ado, I shall begin. And I hope I am audible and visible.
Maybe a little louder.
Maybe a little louder.
Yeah.
Am I? Is this better now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So I'll start sharing my screen. Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Thank you. So yes, as you can see on the screen, and like everybody else has already introduced me, my name is Shwarda Chakravarti, and I work as assistant manager in ICLEI South Asia. The theme of today's presentation is sustainability and resilience planning, and the title, Planning the Future Towards Sustainability, is actually a play on words of sorts. Quite literally, if I am to say, planning the future towards sustainability will mean that we need to efficiently plan our pathways and judicially manage the consumption of resources so that our future is sustainable, where the generations to come are not deprived of their rights to use the resources that they should be using. And that is the textbook definition of sustainable development. But considering today's theme and today's objective of today's session, this is also a play on words, and it means that you, the participants, the students, can plan your future into the domain of sustainability if you can pursue a career in planning like I did. Like you can do a Master of Planning or a PhD, and how to go about it, and what is this planning actually, and what is the sustainability domain actually. That is what we'll be discussing today. So like been said that I work in ICLI South Asia. ICLI is actually a local and regional governments association. We are active in more than 1,700 cities, towns, and city regions. Spread across more than 100 countries. We have 22 worldwide offices, and we're proud to be saying this, that we influence 25% of the global urban population. And in terms of total population, it's 20%. So this is like the spread of our offices across the world. I work out of the South Asia Secretariat, which is headquartered in New Delhi. Our management, Gino is the Secretary General, Mr. Imani Kumar is the Deputy Secretary General, and Kobe Brandt is also a Deputy Secretary General. Mr. Imani Kumar, like Kumar sir, is also the Executive Director of the South Asia Secretariat. So, more or less, these are our partners, including the government departments and ministries like Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and many others. This list is just an indication. This is not the entire list. This is an indication of with whom we work. Among the non-government institutes, there's Wildlife Fund, IITs, Taru, Center for Science and Environment, CEE. In the international domain, we work with Asian Development Bank, World Bank, European Union, GIZ. GIZ is the aid agency for the German government. Similarly, there is Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, which is the aid agency for the Switzerland government. So what does these aid agencies actually mean? So you must be aware that in the United Nations, developed countries promise some sort of aid, grant, and all these help to the developing countries. Now, how do these aid on whatever grant or help reach the developing countries? There is a channel, proper channel for it. So the first point of contact are these aid agencies, which are directly under the these governments, like Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, SDC. It comes under the Switzerland government. So GIZ under the German government, UK aid under the United Kingdom government, US aid for the United States government, and so on and so forth. And then there is a channel through which it reaches developing country like ours and many others. So that concludes our introduction. Now I'll be talking about the presentation. So before that, these terms will be recurring incidents in our presentation, like climate change mitigation, climate change adaptation. What is climate change mitigation? We know climate change. Climate is changing, global warming happening, temperatures increasing. So what? These are theoretical knowledges. How do you? That's the problem. We are not here to talk about problems. We are here to talk about solutions. So how do we? So what are the solutions? Climate change mitigation is a solution. We reduce our carbon footprint through a set of actions. Adaptation is climate has already changed. Temperatures have already increased. Extreme weather events have been happening across the world, like the flood in Germany, forest fires of Australia. Even in India, you must be feeling more hot during summers. Monsoons are extended, winter showers, all these incidents happening. So all these changes have already happened. So how do you cope with it? That is climate change adaptation. And resilience is something which we aim for the future, like our systems, whether it be infrastructure system, administrative system, education system, whatever system. Like just imagine this COVID scenario where for more than a year, the education system is under lock and key. Students are not going to schools, colleges, teachers are giving lectures online. We are here interacting over the web. So resilience is something which we have to aim for so that our systems do not face these kind of failures in the future. And sustainability, like we have already discussed, like I already said, it's the end goal. It is our vision. We aim. Sustainability is not the destination. It is a journey. It is never ending. We have to take the path of sustainability. Our future generations have to take the path of sustainability, and so on and so forth. Sustainability can never end. So more like it's climate change and adaptation and mitigation are what we do in the present, and resilience and sustainability is what we aim in the future. And if we see the overall context, then just a minute, I think, yeah, this is better. In the overall context, sustainability is the overarching goal. Resilience comes below it, climate change mitigation and adaptation below it, and disaster management is the immediate thing. Like a disaster strikes, we have to take care of it. That is why I did not just say it outright anything else. I hope that explains. So what is planning? Planning, by the dictionary definition, planning means chalking out the activities required to achieve a goal. We need planning. The first thing we need is planning to achieve any desired results. So for sustainability, we need planning. Now, what is planning? If I have to talk about planning in terms of a discipline, like Sanjeev sir was saying, geography was discussing geography as a discipline. So if we have to discuss planning as a discipline, and we discuss planning as a domain of work, there is we're not much difference, but that's how we'll go about it. So planning as a discipline is interdisciplinary. It's a borrower of all sciences. Engineering, architecture, geography, chemistry, physics, economics, everything comes under it. So when I was a student during my presidency days, geography, we used to pride ourselves and we used to call ourselves like geography is the mother of all sciences. But the other sciences, they would be mocking us like, who says that geography is the mother of all sciences? Geography is the borrower of all sciences. But trust me, it doesn't make any difference whether it's mother or borrower. At the end of the day, it's an amalgamation of different streams of knowledges, different streams, knowledge bases, basically. And this inherently makes this discipline have a broader knowledge base because it builds upon different information, different sciences, and brings it at one table for easy access. Now, you don't have to run from one place to another for different kind of information. You have access to it on one plate. That makes eating it easier. So that is what planning is, actually, a borrower of all sciences. It brings everything on one plate. Now, if I talk about, this is the theory of it. If I have to talk about the practicality of it, then planning is okay. Yeah, thank you. So if I have to talk about the practicality of it, then planning is the fulcrum on which socioeconomic development and conservation is balanced. Ideally, conservation should take priority because sustainable development is our ultimate goal. So even if little bit, conservation should take more priority. But unfortunately, the situation is such in our today's scenario, the socioeconomic development has taken priority over conservation. And this thing has been so prominent that conservation has been sent flying out of the window. Nobody cares about conservation anymore. This is unfortunate. We have to work and bring back conservation on the table. Socioeconomic development is not everything. So what do planners do? We planners, we visualize the future, like what can be, what should be achieved, what is the goal for the future. And then we develop policies and projects to achieve that future. And then we implement it. Now you will say that, before that, let me give you an example. So say universal sanitation, that is the future, like government of India has, or government of West Bengal visualizes. Then Swachh Bharat Mission and Nirmal Bangla Mission, many of you must be aware of these terms. These missions are the policies. There are many projects under these missions as well. And then we implement these projects like RDF, refuse derived fuel, for dry waste management, biomethanation for wet waste management, something like that. Now, you will say that this is what government does, but do you think government uh, is one single person, the politicians who you see every day on TV or newspapers? There are a lot of uh, legwork, mental work happening behind the scenes, who are actually, there are unsung heroes, like who spend their sleepless nights and days ensuring that the future is visualized. Often it does not happen, but the work that these people do is not to be looked down upon. But then you will say, this work is done by engineers and not planners. But well, you are not wrong. You see, what we have in India is a British legacy. In this legacy, uh, this designation was engineer, because at that time, at that point of time, the priority was construction of roads, bridges, water supply units, all these things. So we needed engineers for the society to function. But over the years, the needs of society has evolved, and with this, different expertise, people with different expertise have been incorporated into the system: architects, lawyers, chartered accountants, planners, and they all come together to visualize, develop these policies, and implement these policies. uh, so at the end, uh, it is this is what the current system looks like right now. It is the planners who actually plan, who visualize the future, who analyzes the feasibility of the vision, like whether it is possible or not, whether we should do this or not, whether we can go that way or not. And after that, there's the architects who design that vision, like how to go about it. And engineers make that vision uh, into a reality. They construct that whatever vision it is. Bureaucrats give the approval, and at the end, politicians cut the ribbon. And we all know that. And then we all know that it is the government who is doing. But before cutting the ribbon, a lot of work has happened, which usually takes years to compile. Before I give this example, I will give you another example. Say this is regarding land use planning. You must be aware that if you are all from one, you live somewhere, right? There are many other houses around your house. Then at one place there are mm, shops, different kinds of shops, and then at one place there is a school, there is roads. Now, have you ever wondered how, like, who decides that the road has to go from here? The houses should be located there, and the commercial establishments, the shops and the malls should be located there. Who does this? This is part of land use planning. Any area before being developed uh, has to undergo a process called master planning. Master planning is land use allocations. This land use allocation happens, you are all geographers, you know land use land cover map. Who determines this land use map? This is how land use map is actually prepared. Land use allocations. The government of India has a set of manuals, the URDPFI guidelines. Based on that, land use allocations are made. For example, the population of an area is, say, 500. So a school or a primary school should be allocated to them. The water supply for this 500 people should not be more than 20 meters away. They should have a road of at least 10-meter width, like this. There are different kinds of guidelines. So after this land use plan is prepared, it gets implemented, and then we see a city or an urban area proliferating. So that's how any area gets developed, planning. It's at the end of the day, first and foremost thing that happens, it is planning. Another example is what I have prepared the slide for is solid waste management. Many of you must be aware of the system where a person comes to your doorstep, blows a whistle, and then you know she or he has arrived, and you take out your garbage to, or somebody else from your home takes the garbage and dumps it on the van. Now, have you ever wondered what happens to this garbage after you have deposited it with that person? There's let me just open find out why don't I open the floor. Do you know, how many of you know what happens after this? You can raise your hand and we can just have an answer. How many of you know what happens to the solid waste that you give out? Yes, Genia, you can unmute yourself and speak.
So what I have noticed is in the city of Kolkata itself, there are at various places we have vats where the garbages are disposed, and prior to that the garbages are transformed into liquid and they are disposed. Means in
Okay.
This is what I have noticed.
Okay, sure.
Now I wonder, after this, after being transformed into liquid, where does this garbage go? Where does this liquid form goes? Where is it disposed?
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you. That is my question as well. So what happens? That is my question. Do you know what happens to it after that? That is my question. Does anybody of you know? You can raise your hand and we can have an answer. No? Nobody? Okay. So no problem. So this entire system, there is a system behind it. Like Genia said, that it is dumped at one vat. After that, what? We'll come to that. Sorry. Yeah. So this is what this thing is called, primary collection. A person comes, blows a whistle, and somebody from your house deposits the waste to that person. That is primary collection. In some cases, this also happens where we just throw the garbage out on the streets. But as planners, we need to consider this, and we cannot expect everything will move according to system, because uncertainty is the course of nature. We have to be prepared for unforeseen circumstances, and this happens, and we have to be prepared for it. So what happens to this solid waste? So after this primary collection, like Genia said, there are vats, and in many cases, there are movable vats. Like there is a vehicle parked, like you can see this one, and the person who collects the waste just dumps that entire garbage directly onto the vehicle, and this vehicle goes to wherever it has to go. This is called secondary transfer, and these points are called secondary transfer points or secondary storage points. So that's how the generation sources, many generations, like your houses, and after that there are commercial street sweeping. Your streets are swept, your drains are cleaned. Many construction has C&D, means construction and demolition, C&D waste. So many buildings get constructed, they get demolished, and that waste, that debris that is collected. So all these are sources of solid waste management. And they are all brought together by this primary collection system, taken to the secondary transfer point, and from there it is taken to the end point where it is either processed or dumped. In most cases, it is just simply dumped, and you must be aware of these dumping places. Many of you must have heard the name of dhapa. Like during our school days and college days, dhapa used to be the biggest joke for us. Like we want to curse somebody, we would say like, we will throw you on dhapa. I don't know if you know dhapa, but dhapa is being converted into a world-class facility in recent days. So it is mostly dumped. Now, what happens when this dumping business happens? Like one day, For example, do you Kolkata? Like Jania was just talking of Kolkata. Kolkata is a big city. I'll talk about a smaller city like Durgapur or Siliguri or Asansol, Baharampur. The waste that they generate every day is anywhere between 200 to 300 tons per day. 1 ton is 1000 kgs, by the way. So 200 tons of waste that gets every day by 365 days, it gets taken to this one dumping point and it is dumped out there day in, day out. So what happens over the years after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? What happens is an inner layer, an inner core region, and an outer region forms. The outer region has access to air and undergoes aerobic decomposition, and the inner core, which does not have access to air, undergoes anaerobic decomposition. Many of you must be aware of the terms. What does aerobic decomposition do? It emits carbon dioxide. What does anaerobic decomposition do? It emits methane. Both of them are greenhouse gases. You know about greenhouse effect. That is what is causing climate change, and that is what is causing global warming. So these are greenhouse gases. But the potency of the greenhouse gases are different. Methane is 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So what does this mean? Say X units, say X, forget X, say 10 units of carbon dioxide takes 28 years to heat up a particular region. Methane can do it in 1 year, the same 10 units. So that is what methane does. And this is a greenhouse gas emission. So by doing this simple dumping process, we are emitting methane and causing climate change. And nobody of us is aware that we are doing it. So it is essential that we sustain this solid waste. And that is why in this next slide, I have added the word sustainable. We have the same generation sources. And how do we make it sustainable? That is where planning comes into play. What does planning do? We will plan in a way where waste is segregated at source into wet, dry, and medical. Wet means organic, dry means inorganic, biodegradable, non-biodegradable. Medical, you all know what medical means. So we segregate this waste and we collect this waste in a segregated manner. If you will remember this slide, you see this, there are two kinds of bins, two color, green and black. Even if you see the vehicle, it's blue and green. So green is basically biodegradable and the other color is non-biodegradable. So that is how you segregate the waste. Oh, by the way, black is biomedical or hazardous waste. Blue is wet, dry. So yeah, so you collect this waste in a segregated manner and you transfer it in a segregated manner. Like you saw in the vehicle, there were two separate compartments, so there is no mixing. Now, why do we need to do this? So that we can process it. If waste is mixed together, we cannot process it. We have to dump it out. Nobody on earth has that kind of time and energy to segregate 200 tons of waste every day. People will die. They will just start dying if they start doing it. So it is not possible. So we have to segregate your waste. And by the way, as a planner, it is also our jobs to make people aware. And this is also me making you aware, if you are not aware of it already, that you should be segregating your waste at source and giving out to the people, to the authorities. And if the authorities are not doing it, then you should be asking the authorities to be doing it, because this earth is yours as well. It is not only theirs. So you transfer it in a segregated manner and take it to an endpoint and you process it. But after processing, there will of course be some rejects, which has to be dumped, but it should not be dumped just randomly. It should be a sanitary landfill. What is the difference between any just dumping and sanitary landfill? Sanitary landfill reduces the possibilities of groundwater pollution, leachate. It has leachate management, so groundwater pollution is minimized, does not happen. And since these are rejects. Their rejects are basically dry components which do not have any biodegradable organic content in it, so they do not emit any carbon dioxide or methane. So that's how it should be done. So the role of planner, by the way, do I have time or am I overshooting? I still have time.
Please continue. You have a time.
Yeah. So what is the role of planner in the grand scheme? In this entire thing, we are doing solid waste management. Sorry, I missed. Yeah. In this entire thing, we are doing solid waste management. We are doing this processing, and we are reducing methane and carbon dioxide emissions. We are reducing our carbon footprint. So you remember climate change mitigation. We are mitigating climate change, and that's how we are making our systems resilient for the future. Because we are combating climate change now, we are reducing this impact of global warming to some extent, and we are making this system able to cope with future shocks. So we are making it resilient, and that is how we are reaching towards the goal of sustainability. So a planner can anywhere, these are like sustainability is the vision, then the strategy is to combat climate change, and then we have a goal of reducing our carbon footprint, and then we take that action. So as a planner, we can work anywhere on this scale. We can work on the strategic vision or the goal mission area or the action area. But as fresh planners minted by any university, you need to be working in the action area in your initial years, because that will give you on-field experience. You will know how do these systems actually work, and that is valuable. That is so valuable, you cannot eliminate it. There are many people who actually start working in the strategy vision or the goal mission stages. Well, nothing against them, but how do you decide a strategy if you are not aware of what goes on ground? So on-field experience as a planner is very important, and that is what you should be aiming for. So that is what planning is. Now, how do you pursue this planning as a career? By the way, if you are a geographer, you need a minimum of a master's degree, of postgraduate degree, to be applying in any of the planning institutes for a master's degree. You have to be an MA, even if you are not a geographer, say you are in economics or statistics, any of the conventional courses. Like there are 3 courses, conventional courses: the Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor BSc, and BA, Bachelor of Arts. And then there are the professional courses, technical courses: architecture, engineering, MBA, BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, any of these. So these people who are doing BArch, BTech, or BBA, they can directly go for an implant degree, because their courses are minimum of 4 years and some are 5 years. But ours, like in the conventional courses, are of 3 years bachelor degree. So planning requires a minimum of 5 years of educational background before you can pursue it. So you need to do an MA, MSc, MCom, whatever, before you can start planning. If you are in the bachelor, but I would suggest if you are in the bachelor's stage right now, then you should be going for a master's degree in TIS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, where you can pursue a master's degree in disaster management or human ecology, environment ecology. There are many other schools. So if you are a bachelor student in geography right now or in any other stream, switch to masters for in TIS, and then you can pursue planning, because that will create a base. By the way, if you are a student of geography, then if you are doing a master's in geography as well, that is fine as well, because in disaster management I went to TIS after doing my master's. So what I did was I did my master's in geography, and then I went to TIS to do the second master's in disaster management. And there I found that they are not teaching me anything new. What they are teaching, I already have learned it while I was a master's student in geography. So I dropped out of TIS. But if you are a bachelor student, then it is okay to do a master's in disaster management or a master's in geography, while the others who are not geography, you can go for this master's degree in disaster management, human ecology, environment ecology, habitat ecology, all these courses in TIS. I hope I'm clear out there. Geography, you can do masters in geography and then go for planning. Fine, no problem. You can also do masters in disaster management and go for planning. Again, same thing, no difference. Other students who are not from geography background, go to TIS, pursue any of these courses that will help you pursue your career in planning. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Now, so how do you get into this planning? So like I said, 5 years, you are done and dusted with your 5 years under your belt. You have 5 years under your belt. Now you give out these exams. They conduct these exams. Even TIS conducts an exam. You have to appear for a written test, a personal interview, and a group discussion. There are 3 stages, and then you will be admitted to this institute. TIS is, by the way, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. It is in Mumbai. And then even there is another option. I'll come to that later, but it is not typically planning, but a lot of people do that from geography background as well. I'll come to that later. So after this, you go to the appear for this entrance exams of these institutes, and you pursue your planning, which is typically a 2-year course. And yes, after this, there are placements, but CEPT, from where I have passed out, has the best placement system that I know of. I am not School of Planning and Architecture, not that much. IIT is also not that much. IITs are basically for PhD. They are not for master's degree. You cannot do a master of planning. You need to, if you need to complete your master of planning and go to IITs for a PhD. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah. So in the IITs, you need to, so if you're going for a PhD, that's more like it. And then there is the Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology. This is IIEST, Shibpur. That is also an option if you feel like it. So that's what it is. Now, the other option that I was saying, a lot of people after doing masters in geography, they go to Indian Institute of Population Sciences, IIPS. This is also in Mumbai. And then, but you will not get into this sustainability domain directly. You will have to do a PhD after that. It's a must. You have to do a PhD after, because IIPS also gives out a master's degree. So you have a master's degree first in geography or whatever. Then you go to IIPS. IIPS and TIS are the same thing, by the way. So you can choose between TIS and IIPS after your bachelor's in geography or bachelor's in other BCom or BSc, whatever it is. You can choose between any of these two, IIPS or TIS. Geography, you are fine, because your students of geography are taught population geography and environmental geography in the master's course. There are special papers on it, so you can pursue your paper on it, and that's fine, even if you do not go for IIPS or TIS. It's your call totally. But IIPS is purely population science related. Your options will be limited if you go through that channel into the planning domain. So after IIPS, you can either do a PhD or you can go into this planning. Same for other courses as well. So after doing this planning, this pursuing this Master of Planning course, what are your prospects? There are, so you have any of these. There are 6 sectors where you can work: corporates, governments, government affiliated, non-profit organizations, research organizations, academic organizations, institutes. Now, before anything, I would like to distinguish between research and academic. Now, after doing your uh, planning, after getting your Master of Planning degree, what you will get is the option of going into the practical field or staying in the theoretical domain. The theoretical domain is the academic. You pursue a PhD and then you start teaching at any college, university, or any place. Of course, it will not be purely theoretical because you will get opportunities to work on ground, but limited. It will be largely academic discourse. You'll be publishing journal papers. You'll be writing books. Now, that is what I mean here by academic. Now, when you go into the, excuse me, I just need the water. Sip of water. Yeah. So when you go onto the practical field, what you will get is 2 options again. In the practical field itself, either you get to work on ground in project implementation and management, or you can do the research in the research wing. Many of you must have heard of this magazine, environmental magazine, Down to Earth. So this Down to Earth magazine is actually published by CSE, Center for Science and Environment. They are into research. They do purely research. They are not into any kind of project implementation or management. They so this research is what actually feeds into our work. It is very helpful, but it is practical, knowledge oriented research. So therein lies the difference. These are not academic journals like peer reviewed journals, but of course they are peer reviewed works as well. But the kind of rigorous exercise that goes into any academic paper, right, that is not there. Yes, so that is what this kind means, research and academic, the difference between research and academic. Then there are corporates. Many of you must know the names: PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, CRISIL, ICOM, McKinsey, any of these. There are government departments, like we work with various government, municipal corporations, municipalities, basically local development, local government bodies. Also associations of local governments. Then there are development authorities like NKTA, KMDA, SJDA, like Silicon Jalpaiguri Development Authority, Delhi Development Authority, New Town Kolkata Development Authority, Kolkata Metropolitan Development Authority. These are government departments who directly hire people, planners. Then there are parastatal agencies like the State Urban Development Agency of West Bengal, SUDA. Then for smart cities, a special purpose vehicle has been, SPV has been, Smart City Limited Corporation has been institutionalized. These are who actually hire planners as well. Then there are government affiliated departments. There are various centers of excellences: Center for Urban Equity, Center for Good Governance, Hyderabad, and stuff like that. So these are the centers, various centers of excellences. And then there is National Institute of Urban Affairs. National Institute of Urban Affairs is the right hand of Ministry of Urban Affairs, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Any work that happens by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is the knowledge regarding that is disseminated by NIUA. Also, a lot of research is done by NIUA. Of course, NIUA, a lot of other organizations like ours, particularly South Asia, we collaborate with NIUA on different works as well. It is not just NIUA alone. So it is the knowledge dissemination and partnership domain. Then there are non-profit organizations like ICLEI South Asia, WRI India, Shakti Foundation, many more. There are so many more. There was a vast list before what what in my initial slides, like when I was discussing our partners we have these partners in India and abroad also. So there are many of these non-profit organizations. This list that is just indicative. It is not for any like this, not the end of it. So yeah, this is what what planning looks like, and that is how you come into the domain of planning. And when you come into the domain of planning, you will be working in the domain of sustainability, climate change, resilience, all these issues. And maybe someday when you grow big enough, you can also work with World Bank, European Union, United Nations, who knows. So it's just a matter of time. So I hope that you all have a sustainable future and you are my colleagues in the domain of planning in the near future. For any more queries, reach out to me at my email given here for your. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you very much, Shahardar. Really, it's wonderful to see like how a geographer can enter into field of planning. That is adding the additional advantage to our career. Like if you are pursuing geography, since yesterday also I have mentioned that when we are taking our admission in geography, we have heard one very common phrase, geography ta pore ne khub beshi career khub bhalo ache. But what is exactly where the prospects are lying and in what direction we are supposed to move or in what direction we are supposed to choose, that was still not very clear to anyone. I guess it was not very clear to anyone. But yes, your presentation has made it very clear to us. Thank you very much for your presentation. Without wasting any time, before entering into chat box to see a question, I will take the request from my department, from our UG and PG students, like who have a special aptitude examination from 12 PM onwards. They have requested to post their question first. So first question is coming from Shreya. She is asking like after pursuing BSc in geography, are you suggesting to directly enter into test or MSc in geography is important? Like what is your suggestion?
So Shreya, like I said, when you are pursuing a master's degree in geography, it is equally good like a master of arts degree in disaster management or an MA degree in population studies. All of them, if you are a student of geography, that is, all of the same have same value, because the information that you will be studying at any of these institutes or in the degrees is almost the same. Of course, like I said, the geography is like even Professor Ghosh was saying that uh, geography is an interdisciplinary science, and that is why you will be studying regarding population studies or disaster management or all of these things. So it is up to you whether you want to. But of course, when you do go into disaster management or population studies, you will be getting into more depth, more detail regarding that one particular subject. Maybe you will. So if you are in geography, you will be learning about disaster management, you will be learning about population studies, also hydrology, climatology, regional development, all of these things. If you go into disaster management, maybe you will not be learning about all the others. You will be learning more into about how to manage that disasters. Or if you go into population studies, you will be learning more about uh, how to analyze population figures. So that is what your expertise, where your expertise will lie. As a student of geography, it keeps your prospects open. So after you enter into planning, you can choose between different areas. So planning has different wings. You have infrastructure planning, housing planning, urban planning, environment planning. All of these plannings require different expertise areas. So keeping your options open as a student of geography, I would suggest you pursue your Masters of Science or Masters of Arts degree in geography. Thank you.
Further, I have a question for you. So what are the challenges that you need to face in terms of your job, because most of the students try to get into the domain of planning, and they don't have some experience that they need to encounter initially at their early career. So if you just highlight some of the challenges that they may experience in future in their jobs.
Sure. So before that, for answering that, I would like to highlight this one issue, that challenges are what makes a person stronger. And challenges is what everybody will be facing in any field. Now, if you're talking about the challenge in the domain of planning, well, it's not any different from others. You have to reach office on time. That is the biggest challenge as a human being, being punctual. And being an Indian, like being punctual, I would suggest that is the first thing that you should inculcate. We should be punctual about our deadlines. In planning, the deadlines are actually very crucial and very tight. Like in 3 months, you have to complete one particular project. It may be an academic exercise, a research exercise, or a project implementation, and all hell breaks loose. There is no time for your personal life, anything. Like 8 hours is the usual office work hours, but forget it. You'll be doing night outs, 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, and that is how. And you have to be adaptive. So as a planner, adaptation is crucial. We have to adapt to changing circumstances, and we have to be prepared for unforeseen circumstances. So I hope our budding planners can do that.
Okay, thank you. And as a faculty, I can say the deadlines and the missing point of deadlines are there for our students as well. They if you give them a assignment, they give you prior to the examination, that things keep happening. So I will request our student to look into this point that Shobhad sir already discussed. Another question I have in my mind, that how much is the difference in your academic knowledge that you have inculcated over your journey from BSc to MSc, and in actual arena when you entered into the job. So is the academic techniques knowledge that you have gained over years actually applicable in total or in partial? How much is that applicable?
So though I just want to add the same thing is going in my mind. I just to add up to Rajiv that I have heard somewhere that the problem with our student, that they have all the theoretical knowledge, they know all the definitions and all the things, but when it is come for the application part, they sometimes they lack that grip. That planning is all about applying those knowledge. So where is the gaps?
Okay, so I would say, if to answer Rajiv Das' question, it's partial and 40% at best. That what we learn as in our classrooms and what I'm applying. Frankly speaking, in my work today, apart from climatology, environmental geography, and statistics, I hardly use any other science. Hydrology, geomorphology, forget it. Hydrology sometimes maybe. So that's where it is. That's how it is, the application of techniques. It is not, I am a geographer, I am doing it. An engineer might not be able to do it. It is not about the discipline, it is about the person. Planning is all about common sense. It is being prepared for few unforeseen circumstances and being adaptive and be smart enough to navigate through it. Like planning is, we work with government in the government machinery, right? When we work in the government machinery, there are a lot of hurdles. I mean, many of you must have had experiences of government machinery when you go to fill up a form or do some mundane government job, government work. So you must have faced that, like, आज के नौ है काल के, sometime later, साहब अभी घर पे नहीं है, एक महीना बाद आओ, something like that. All these things happen. Now you have to navigate through it. It is the same whether you are in front of the table or me behind the table. We are looking at the same scenario. This is what our system is. It is not the problem of the discipline, it is the problem of the person who's not able to apply it. And I will say there are many other geographers doing a splendid job of it, and there are many other discipline people who cannot do it. So it's not a matter of discipline, it's a matter of discipline as in the science or the degree. It is a matter of the person. We have to be adaptive, we have to know how to navigate through this harsh current, and it is often against the flow, by the way. Going with the flow is easy, going against it is very difficult. We have to learn how to do it.
So another question that I'd like to ask to you, how much of your work is associated with the geographical information system and statistical components? So
everything is statistical, almost everything. Like any analysis is, job planning is a stream, is a discipline which is based on quantification. Of course, we also rely on qualitative information in the absence of quantitative data. But first and foremost priority is quantification. So statistical analysis is very important. Students who who are still are in their college days, please, if you want to come into planning, learn your statistics properly from the teachers. It is very important. And also GIS. If you are still slagging off on learning GIS and statistics, then it's high time that you buckle up and learn it properly.
Thank you, Shwarda. That's my take. And
thank you.
Thank you. The next question we have from Genia. Genia wants to know, like, you have mentioned about Dhapa, very sensitive zone. So can you share some of the government initiative or planning that has been taken to help the health of the domicile of Dhapa? Is there any plan is going or something is that you can share with us?
Yes. If you want the document, I can share the document with you as well later. You can just send me an email and I can reply back on that email because it cannot go through on this Zoom platform. It is a heavy document. So the plan is, so you see there is what this waste that is being dumped year on year out, we call this legacy waste. So what we do is we take this legacy waste and we have to first empty that legacy waste. We have to just do something about it. Either we cap that legacy waste totally, we cap it, like we cover it up and we do some plantation work and turn it into a park or something, and we don't do anything on it. Or in case where there is no alternative arrangement of land where we can construct a sanitary landfill or an integrated waste management facility, what we do is we have to empty that waste first, and that is what is being done. Part of it is being capped and part of it is being emptied, because on the empty plot of land, that the land is emptied of the waste, a sanitary landfill and integrated waste management facility is being constructed. So work has already started. If you can survive the smell of the waste, you are welcome to go and visit that place. It, by the way, just a statutory warning, it smells like hell. If you have not been to hell, then working in the solid waste management sector will bring you very near to it. But it is also exciting. That is all. Thank you.
Next question we have from our YouTube viewer, like, how can we become a climate planner?
there is no such thing called as climate planner. We are planners who work in the climate change domain. So you pursue a degree in planning. Like I said, there are specialization courses that go into urban planning or environment planning. And when you go into work, you work in with organizations who are in the climate change, sustainability, resilience domain. These include South Asia. Sorry, please mute yourself so that we can have this conversation.
No issue. Please continue.
Yeah. So then South Asia, then there is Shakti Foundation. There are many others. So you have to build your expertise on it. There is no such thing that you will not get a degree of a climate planner, climate change expert. You will not get a degree of it. You will get a degree of a planner. You are a master of planning graduate. Now, what do you make of that degree is up to you. That is, in which field you work. You can be working in the economic planning domain, or you can be doing in the climate planning domain. Whatever it is, you have to build your expertise in it, your work experience. Like I have right now, of my 8 years of experience, 5 years of experience is in the climate change domain. So I can say that I have 5 years of experience in the climate change domain, something like that. So that is how you become a climate planner, by the way. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question we have from Nazleen. She wants to know how one can become a GIS and RS planner, or is there any post calling GIS and RS planner?
Same answer like the first one. You have to build your expertise in that domain. But as a planner, GIS is an accessory tool. It is not the end of it. So if you are saying that you want to be a planner with core expertise of GIS, well, then you don't need to be a planner. There are plenty of GIS experts out there. You can have a special skill set of GIS, but it cannot be your core skill set. Your core skill set should be something else. It should be sustainability, climate change, environment, urban planning, land use planning, any of these things. But that is the GIS, because if you become a GIS, in your words, a GIS planner, what is the difference between you and an Indian Institute of Remote Sensing graduate? There is no difference. Then you can go to Indian Institute of Remote Sensing and pursue a degree of GIS and go work for these organizations who develop the GIS softwares like Esri. Yeah, a junior of ours, Anu does, you don't know. So she is into this. She pursued this degree and she is working with Esri right now. So,
are you talking about Sharmishta?
No, Avinanda.
Okay.
And
Sharmishta is also product engineer.
Sharmishta also, yes. She did a PhD, by the way. So, she did not go to IIRSC. She directly went out. So that's how you go about it. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think that's enough for today. I think we should stop our discussion today here. And I would again request our participants, if you have any question, you can mail us your question. We will forward your question to Shauhaddo. Or you have, I think Shauhaddo sir has also shared his email ID. If you have any doubt or any further query, you can directly email to them as well. Email to him as well, right? And with this words, I would now request Dr. Rajiv Sarkar to kindly give the vote of thanks to this session.
Thank you, Anu madam. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Shohardha Chakraborty from ICLEI South Asia for his nice presentation on sustainability and resilience planning. And this has given us an immense opportunity to know about the journey he has carried out over years. Thank you, Shohardha. Then I'd like to thank our Chancellor sir and VC sir for their generic support on the part of organizing of this Future Geographers program. I'd like to thank our Dean sir for giving us the moral support and administrative support for the event. I'd like to convey my heartiest thank to our emeritus Professor Dr. Sanjeev Ghosh sir for his auspicious presence in this event. I'd like to thank Dr. Kosturi Mukherjee, Head of the Department of Geography, Adamas University, and all our other colleagues for their support, starting from Dr. Twin Vadra, Dr. Supratim Karmakar, Dr. Manushi Devnath, Dr. Suman Chatterjee, and Monisha Baral. Finally, I'd like to thank Dr. Onu Rai, who is the moderator and coordinator of today's event. Finally, I would like to convey my thanks to the participants who has collaborated throughout the session, not only this particular event, but also the other future geographers sessions. And we are seeking their support in the upcoming events that is going to happen on the 31st August on the point of Alpo Shalpo Bhugoler Golpo. And with this short note, I convey my thanks to all the persons present over in this particular domain. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So again, with the today, now it's time to end our session. So again, I'll request my all participants, if you have still not participated in our next upcoming show, that is on Alpo Shalpo Bhugoler Golpo, please register yourself. Please send your stories to us, and let's meet it again on 31st. So thank you very much, and now I'm just closing this session. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shahardo, for your auspicious time. Thank you very much.
Thank
Hope
you.
to meet you again.
Let's
I
hope.
think
Yes,
you should come
let's
to
hope.
our university to see our campus. It's a beautiful green campus. I think you would
Yes.
enjoy here.
I would love to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The feedback form is already shared in a chat box, so please fill up it very carefully. Thank you very much.